Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, hello, hello. Let me know if you can see and hear me okay. This is the first in the set of 3 healings called the February 2024 triplet set. Oh, good. Thank you for the speedy confirmation and the adorable emojis. What more could I possibly ask for? So it is February 2024. And for both of the healing sets this month, the theme is the same with cool variations, of course. And the theme is gentle productivity. So what that means is being productive, but not having it be so distracting and like not having it require so much willpower. Sometimes it feels like you're pushing a giant boulder up a hill to be productive, and you might not really be enjoying your life much during the process. And since ideally you would always want to be productive, that's sort of silly. So hopefully we can get at more and more of the reasons why that happens, and fine tune your productivity more so that it's not, enjoy your life or be productive. It's not an either or, that you could actually do both. So that's, for short, I'm calling it gentle productivity. And there will be a playlist where all these 5 healings from this month are in the one playlist, in case that helps you. And the things, so that was just, I guess, discussing the theme. Sorry, I didn't change my little banner for that yet. But anyway, that was discussing the theme. And, but what we might do for the theme, sort of a side thing, which I think actually will help the theme, but because it helps you be more present, and when you're more present, you do everything better, is joints. Like joints, meaning the, between each bone, I'm not an expert in anatomy, physical anatomy by any stretch of the imagination. But nevertheless, I will blunder on. Because, energy of the physical body is important, and you can regulate it without knowing, much about anatomy, actually. So that is the cool part. Just keep that healthy and gentle intention, so you don't do too much at once. But we will melt away energy blocks in major body joints that you may have, and that can help make your joints safer energetically, so that if someone whacks you, it's less likely to affect your joints. It can make you more present in your joints, which would help overall energy flow throughout your body and help you be more present and therefore potentially more productive. So I just feel like the angels want me to do joints, so we will be doing joints. And I'll mention a few in specific, like the shoulder joints and the knee joints, and maybe the sacroilliac joints at the bottom of the spine, where the sacrum connects to the ilium bones of the pelvis. So I might do that, and then I'm also going to do just unblock major energy blocks that are healthy and gentle to clear in any body joints. So there's that. But then something that's more obviously theme related that I would like to do is also basically unblocking, but specifically your subconscious mind and your conscious mind. But I think that more of it might be like 80% of the blocks are in your subconscious mind, and then 20% are in your conscious mind, in the way of productivity, in the way of prioritizing projects. Prioritizing projects is funny because a lot of times people know what the most important thing they could work on is, but they have the most resistance to the most important thing they could work on. So then they either give up or they, do the little ones, do the little projects, which is, not a bad idea if you're blocked on the big project. But if you want to get unblocked on the big project and be more likely to work on the biggest project, the most important project, now, then, we're gonna clear energy blocks in the way of you working on the most important project, so you don't put it off so long that it's causing you stress. And I think just we're going to unblock, the conscious and subconscious mind, so that you can have more clear thought, versus like distracted or cloudy thoughts, where you just can't focus. So I guess that's really what I'm talking about, is focus. And also self-reflection, self-awareness. I was thinking of that recently because I was talking to somebody and they were talking about how they have more self-awareness lately, and that can be very helpful, especially if your self-awareness is not like a judgy sort of like I suck because, and it's more of like a problem-solving, supportive thing of like, oh, I think I'm a little stuck now. Well, maybe I'll do this and I'll nurture myself in this way and I'll clear it this way. And, like a more of an encouraging self-awareness, supportive, constructive self-awareness, that kind of thing. So I think that could help with the whole gentle productivity idea. So that's what I know so far about what we're doing today. We're, of course, going to do a lot of essentials. I don't want to skip out of the big things, so I will do those up front, probably. I don't want to preview much of what I'll do, but it'll be, I will be putting a healing summary, but a very concise one, detailed but concise, like with short descriptive phrases, in the info section of the video now. I started that last set, doing that. So that way YouTube makes them into chapters, so that at the bottom of the video, when you're watching later, once I've done it, it'll say like, how many seconds you are into the video, like 20 minutes, 30 seconds. And then right next to that, it'll say the chapter that you're in of the video. And so you can kind of click on different chapters, just by looking at that little line that goes along the bottom of the video. So anyway, that's probably obvious to most people. But in case you're as slow as I am, that's why I just explained it. So that will be later. And just so you know, because somebody in their survey, they was like, oh, I bet that saves you a lot of time. No, it doesn't really save me a lot of time because I'm doing it. It's not like I'm getting, chat, whatever, the artificial intelligence to make the chapters. I'm making them. Like I figure out what they are. It's not like a chat, computer figuring them out. But, the point is that I want the content to be as usable as possible for everybody, including myself. So that's why I'm doing it. All right. What else? Oh, countries and people that I'll be healing. So I'll be healing 132 people, plus myself in these 3 healings. And the 102 people are in 11 different countries, including 12 kids, ages 4 to 17. And the 132 people, of those 132, 105 are in the US, 6 are in Qatar, 6 are in the United Arab Emirates, 3 in Canada, 3 in Ukraine, 2 in Bermuda, 2 in Spain, 2 in South Korea, 1 in Indonesia, 1 in Australia, and 1 in New Zealand. So hello, 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 wherever you are, to all the people that I'll be healing, those 132 people. And if you didn't get a chance to purchase this particular healing set, but you're watching live, hello to you too. And most of you know I talk out loud as I work, except for the first minute when I'm quiet. So the rest of the time, what I say I'm doing can function as a walkthrough. So you could listen to that and heal yourself as you listen, if you want. So just checking comments real briefly. Hi, Janet, can see and hear you. Thank you for confirming. Hey, Janet, we can see and hear you in Chicago, 40 and sunny. Sunny, wow, nice. Yeah, we have cloudy right now. We had sunny for the first part of yesterday. That was nice. Actually, more than the first part. But then the day ended with some real dark temperatures, even darkness, even though it wasn't sundown yet, but whatever. Someone says, productivity is very hard for me. Excited to work on this. Good. Me too. I mean, yeah, this will be good. I'm looking forward to it myself personally. Hi from Texas. Also, yay, joints. Yeah. I really appreciate adding the chapters. Thanks, Janet. Oh, good. I'm glad it helps. Yeah, I did ask that in the last survey if people had comments about the chapters, just because I wasn't really fishing for compliments. I mean, I was just whatever people needed to say about them. You know, if they're bad in some way I didn't realize, but they seem to be overall a plus for people. So I'll keep doing it. What else? Oh, thank you for the surveys for the last set. I reviewed them as part of my prep for this set. Yeah, I think I'll just be quiet and do like 3 minutes of quiet. So the 3 minutes of quiet is, you know, I'm just finishing my prep and saying hi on a spirit level to the 132 people so that they are for sure aware that on a subconscious level that the healing is started or starting. Okay, so thanks for waiting. I'm going to do 3 of the 4 essentials right now, quickly, and then we'll see what I do after that. So 3 of the 4 essentials would be grounding, unblocking as 1, creative ring repair and unblocking as the 2nd, and aura repair and unblocking as the 3rd. Repair to all 17 auras. So grounding first. Just recreate both your groundings, your physical body grounding and your astral body grounding. Just recreate them both. Make them nice and wide, going all the way down to the core of the earth. And make them both the same color, red or orange or yellow. And make them both come up as high as your 3rd chakra. So all the way up to here. So big, wide grounding all the way up, all the way around. In front, behind, the sides, all the way down to the core of the earth. Have it stay wide all the way down. And the more you melt away the hard blocked stuff in your grounding, the more strong downward flow you get, which is really helpful. So keep searching for blocked parts. Melt away the blocks so that you get a really strong downward flow throughout your grounding, including in the back. And indie grounding is where you check the outer surface of your grounding, because that's all the way around and down, up and down it, and you melt away connections to other people that you might find. Some people might be connecting to like a child of theirs, which is not helpful. So check that, and you can melt any way that your grounding hooks into a kid of yours or anybody else. A first chakra cord between you and a young kid, 13 and younger, can be fine, but grounding connections can mess things up. So your grounding should be only for you. So a lot of people don't think about their grounding and unblocking their grounding when they're trying to be productive. They don't think about it when they're trying to get ready for bed. They don't think about it at all these key times, but those times can cause your grounding to block up. You could just bring him out on leash in case he needs it. So you can look, also, as I'm going to stick it into the grounding section, but it's not technically grounding. We're going to unblock the bottom of all your aura layers and all your auras, because the Wei Qi auras don't have layers. But anyway, we'll just unblock this part of all your auras, right all around here. Because if those parts are blocked, then it messes with the release of the grounding. It keeps you from dropping things into your grounding if those bottom parts of your auras are too blocked. All right, good. Good job. Woohoo! Yay, you're amazing. So that was grounding, unblocking, and also unblocking the bottom of your aura layers. Let's do creative rings. They're up here, 3 gold rings, 1, 2, 3. If they get damaged, you can feel really messed up, and they're also very helpful for focus if they're unblocked and kind of radiating gold light and generating enough gold light. So there are 3 gold rings right above your astral body head, 1, 2, 3. So you can make a copy of those out in front of you and comb through them and unblock them and repair any cracks or missing chunks. Just use lots of gold light so it all grows back. And you can have, it kind of looks like maybe like a pillowcase over the rings. Let's see. Might be too complicated to demonstrate, but say you have the ring, right? You have a ring, and then this kind of goes over the whole thing, goes over all the rings, you know, just this energy that kind of, you know, like a blanket, just descending down over all your rings. So that comes from up above, just, you know, invasive people and invasive beings. So if you think about your rings, think about up above too. And like, do you have any damage up there? We'll get to aura repair like in general, but it's interesting to kind of learn how one relates to the other. You know, just look at the rings and then trace it back upward and make sure, you know, things are repaired up there and the top part of all your aura layers. Because if you have damage up there, then it's really easy to get people and or invasive beings up there that then core down and kind of glom on and just mess with the whole function. So just repairing this upper part of all your auras as part of creative ring work. I'm blurring a lot of categories today. I think that's why partially when I used to do like very rigid defined sections, it was too boring because everything's all interrelated. And so sometimes separating it out is kind of overly, it's just not as cool, not as interesting. So again, you have the creative rings and then just trace upward and make sure everything's unblocked and repaired above it, above your creative rings. Because you want the creative rings to be whole and you want them to be unblocked and generating gold light, and you want to be able to kind of see it. I mean, yeah, okay, if you can't see gold light yet and all you see is black, then that's kind of hard because then you're not sure if that whole area is black or just you can't see much yet. You know, is it your vision or is it that's the way it looks? So, but you can use your intuition in that case and be like, okay, is there junk wrapped around my creative rings? And if so, you know, is it invasive beings? And if it is, you can say, angels, if there are any invasive beings messing with the area around my creative rings, can you please recycle them? And just wait a little while your angels do that for you. Again, that was just asking your angels to recycle any invasive beings that are anywhere around your creative rings. You can use, what is that? Gold sandstorm. And just use that around. So gold sandstorm is like spinning bits of gold light that you're creating, and it just sort of spins around and scours out whatever's not you around your creative rings. One person in their survey, they said they were talking about how, well, you know, the next day after the healing, everything was really fantastic and I felt really great flow. But then the day after that, you know, everything sort of went back to normal. And what I would say with that is, well, if that's fine with you, then that's fine. But otherwise, you could sort of challenge yourself to learn little maintenance steps so that you can maintain a higher level of flow and, you know, cool feelings longer. You know, and over time you can kind of, you know, and you can post a question under the video about that. Because, you know, a lot of times I'm not going to respond to a survey because the survey is for my learning and it's a very inner reflective thing I'm doing. And so, but if you post that under a video as a question, you know, I tend to feel fantastic the day after the healing, but then after that, the effects fade a lot. You know, is there a couple maintenance steps I'm missing? You know, or I only have 5 minutes twice a day. What maintenance can I do to keep those good feelings going? Whatever. Blah, blah, blah. You get the point. So anyway, that's creative rings, and we did upper work because it's really easy for the creative rings to get messed with if you have damage and blocks up above. So I'm also going to do I'm going to do collapsing gold nets. And then I'll get back to aura repair after that. So with collapsing gold nets, I wanted to do it because we were working creative rings and we did aura repair up here and we were getting rid of invasive beings around that area. So collapsing gold nets is great to get rid of beings everywhere, all around. So may as well do that. So imagine all your auras and then your physical body and your astral body are inside there, and then both your groundings going all the way down to the core of the earth, and then just make giant gold, like a gold cube of netting that's bigger than all that. And then collapse that netting in, and as you do, have it tangle up and catch all the invasive beings, and then drag that out and give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. And it can catch up like blocks you're ready to get rid of, and you know, dumped energy from others and even invasive people, you know, and you can just hand it all to your angels. That's fine. So just have it tangle up all the junk. So big collapsing gold nets. But I think it's most, you know, it's singularly, okay, one more time, collapsing gold nets. Collapse them in, have it tangle up all the invasive beings. Angels, here you go. Deep breath, breathe into everything, including your feet. And your spine and your shoulders. Okay, so aura repair, you have 17 auras, physical body aura, astral body aura, 15 Wei Qi auras are helping you with strong boundaries filled with gold light. The Wei Qi auras. So all 17, you just imagine them. They're pretty much in the same place. If you're reasonably present, they're all in the same place. So just comb through all of them and get a sense of where the damage could be. Notice how blocked they are around certain areas of muscle tension in your body. How blocked are your auras in those areas? How ripped up are your auras in those areas? So let's go ahead and use composite copy technique. This is a way, though, just combing through and using a ton of gold is a way to repair your auras. You just clean them out so much with gold light, and then you use more gold light, and they can grow back. Imagining one composite copy rip and have it represent, with your intention, have it represent all the rips in all your auras that you need to get rid of right now. So just imagine one rip, have it represent all the rips in all your auras, and then clean it out with sticky gold wax, which is wax from your hands, wax that you create that's gold light, but it sticks to whatever's not you and forms a chunk, so then it's easy to remove stuff all at once. So fill up the rip with sticky gold wax, have it stick to all the junk that's not you, lift it out as a chunk. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax, fill up the rip with sticky gold wax, get rid of all the junk. Angels, here you go. So that's to clean it out so that the gold light makes good contact with the rips so they can repair. You can have hard objects stuck in your rips, so you can just grab out all the hard objects. Angels, here you go. Grab out all the hard objects. Angels, here you go. Or one fun thing I like to do is grab out all the hard objects and use so much gold light that they just sort of turn to dust and totally dissolve. That's kind of fun too. If you have someone that thinks they're so tough and they keep throwing hard objects at you, you just gather them all up and like use so much gold light that they dissolve into nothing. You know, that's kind of like a power play. It's very clean. You're not doing anything to them, but you're just showing them like, yeah, that's not going to work very well. You know? So I think that's kind of good. You know, it's good to show people that they can't crush you. It's just not going to work. You know, versus like if you then have like 2 crappy days in a row because of what they did, they're kind of validated by their, you know, punishing behavior. So if you instead just gather up all the junk that just got thrown at you and you just use so much gold light, it just goes into nothingness, you know, and then you just repair. It's, you know, it helps you. It feels kind of good to do it that way, and then too, it might dissuade people from spending so much energy trying to bring you down because it doesn't work. So, yeah, so get those rips all repaired. Get the hard objects dissolved that might be stuck in the way. And if you have any leftover hardness, either at the edges of some of your auras or in the middle somewhere, any leftover hardness from having stuff thrown at you, just pile up all that hardness from your auras and melt it with gold light. And again, this is like a good sort of power play thing to just be like, look how easily I could do this. I'm so cool. So again, just put in front of you all the hardness from all your auras and just melt it all down with gold fire until it's nothing. And then just use lots of gold light and do a little extra healing for everywhere, all your auras. And this time, as sort of an after thing for aura repair, I want to do, this isn't the way I was doing it in the last set, but I don't like doing it the same way all the time. That's just annoying to me. So it's technically a part of aura repair, but gold mesh spheres, I mean, it could be thought of as a part of aura repair. So GMS, gold mesh spheres of your Wei Qi auras. So they're so helpful. Like each of your 15 Wei Qi auras has 3 gold mesh spheres that wrap all around you, but they could be all ripped up and blackened if you never repair them and wash them off with gold light. And in which case they're not helping. But if you repair them and wash them off so they're nice and gold and continuous and flowing, then they generate a lot of gold light, which fills up the Wei Qi aura and also sends it towards your body meridians to help you on a physical level, mental, emotional, etc. So you have so in one Wei Qi aura, you'll have one gold mesh sphere that's closest to your body, then one sort of in the middle, and then one near the edge, but not at the edge of your Wei Qi aura. So you have 1, 2, 3 gold mesh spheres for each Wei Qi aura. So just imagine all of them. So the 15 inner ones, the 15 middle ones, the 15 outer ones. And just heal them all at once, repair them all at once. Check for rips. Rips, gashes, whatever you want to call them. I used to say rips or gashes all the time, even though it's the same thing. Oh my gosh. So again, if you have an area that has greater muscle tension or like a chronic injury or something, definitely repair the Wei Qi auras around there. Somebody was saying in their survey, oh, I usually have problems with my left shoulder or whatever, my left side of my neck. You check your Wei Qi auras around there and repair them. You know, think of like, okay, if you ever get headaches, that could be related to dehydration, but it could also be energy caused or both. So where do you normally get headaches? Do you get them right in front around your eyes? Do you get them in the back? Check your Wei Qi aura gold mesh spheres around those areas and just make sure they're nice and flowy and unblocked and repaired. So right now I'm doing gold mesh spheres like right in front of the eyes and in front of the nose and forehead. You can like scrunch up your face just to like stretch out some muscles if you want. All right, so that was gold mesh spheres. Of the Wei Qi auras. I'm going to look at a sample person for a second. Okay, so we're going to do chakra repair, but then we're going to also do unblocking chakras and clearing avoidance, because I think if I were to just do unblocking and repairing chakras with composite copy technique like I normally do, where you imagine one chakra and you have it represent all the chakras and you repair and unblock, I think I wouldn't. I want to get at something. I want to be as effective as that, but more so, because I'm noticing certain people that angels are pointing out where they're avoiding. So it's like they don't really allow as much clearing to happen as is possible. Because the more you clear, the more present you get. And if you're avoiding stuff, you don't want to be that present. You know, so there could be a part of you that says, well, of course I want to be focused and productive in my day, but you might be trying to like do that up above, like detached from your body. And I think with gentle productivity, that would be more of an in-body productivity. Because the more in your body you are, I mean, unless you're just, you know, you triggered something and you never clear it, then that's not gentle. But otherwise, if you can get in your body and get comfortable in your body, then you're much safer. Like you have much stronger boundaries. You're harder to manipulate. You're less likely to just get shut down, you know, with energy attacks and invasive stuff. So anyway, long story short, that was explaining. So I'll put up the explaining thing just to say I've been explaining already. But yeah, we're gonna do chakra work and also clearing avoidance, and I'll just sort of bounce back and forth between the two so that hopefully people are less married to their avoidance and they can be more comfortable being more present. So let's get to work with that. So, right now I'm looking separately at the major physical body chakras and the major astral body chakras. You know, the 7 along your spine. So 7 physical body chakras and then 7 astral body chakras. And I'm looking at them separately. So like, you don't have to be this way. Ideally, you wouldn't be like halfway out of your body. But if you are halfway out of your body, like say if you're about to take a nap and you're like half asleep or something, then you're close to your body, but you're not in, right? So that's sort of how I'm imagining, just so that I can see them separately. But I'm not making somebody be that way. You just imagine like a hypothetical version so that you can see them separately. And so I'm working both sets of major chakras separately, gold light, unblocking them, doing repairs if needed, just with gold light, melting cords, except for that first chakra cord to a young child, if it's that person's child, of course. So then I'm imagining blocks in between the spirit and the body, the astral body and the physical body, blocks that person's trying to avoid. And I'm imagining them kind of like bowling balls, you know, chunks of blocked energy that person's avoiding. And I'm just running gold light through them, giving them red groundings. So I'm just imagining the blocks that people are avoiding. And I'm not forcing anything. I'm just using a real gentle amount of gold light so that people can kind of take their time. If they want to clear them, they can. Just keep breathing. So I'm not imagining like, you know, the most awful trauma that someone's ever been through. I'm just like whatever's healthy and gentle to clear right now that they're avoiding, that is making them not make the most of chakra work, right? So spirit chakras, body chakras, I'm doing more work on those. I can also imagine the filaments in between astral 7 and physical 7. The filaments are good cords that connect you to you, your astral body chakras to your physical body chakras. So I'm just unblocking those filaments, chakra filaments. And again, I'm looking at, okay, what's that person avoiding that is healthy and gentle to clear, that keeps them sort of stalling their own progress, right? So just imagine those things like bowling balls or however you want to imagine them, and just ground them with red earth energy and use gold light. And if somebody else is cording the bowling balls, just melt away the cords with gold light and just keep using gold light. And then again, I'm unblocking the filaments, the connections between astral and physical body chakras. Especially the lower ones, 3, 2, and 1. And again, I'm imagining whatever that person's avoiding that is healthy and gentle to clear right now. They're just, kind of stuck in a pattern of avoiding it. And just imagine those things like bowling balls in between their spirit and their body, or your spirit and your body. Just use red grounding for these bowling balls and gold light. Melt cords going into the bowling balls. Bowling balls are, baggage or dumped energy, some kind of blocked energy that that you're avoiding. Just keep running gold light through so they can melt. Abel, be good. Abel. Cut it out. Abel. He's so stubborn until you throw something at him, then he stops. Abel. It was just a piece of fabric and it went nowhere near him, but it stopped him. All right, so again, I'm looking for stuff that is in your way, right? That, most of you wants to make progress. Most of you wants to be healthy and safe and whole, right? But part of you is like, no, part of you is very much avoidant of certain things, right? So let's say there are things that you're avoiding that are too big to clear right now. They're not healthy and gentle. What would you do about those? Well, you could wrap them up in a lot of gold light and hand them to your angels. So wrap up the stuff that's too much for today in gold light, nice gold wrapping, gold scarves if you want, and give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. Okay, so imagine your body and your spirit and what's too big to deal with today, but you're totally avoiding it. And just wrap it up in lots of gold light and just be like, angels, here you go. And that's basically the equivalent of angel storage, which we did before. But sometimes, things can get triggered that maybe weren't yet in angel storage, or I don't know, they pop out of angel storage. So your spirit, your body, anything in between that you're avoiding. Yeah, so I think that's good enough for now. And just in case there's a little bit left over of chakra repair that's necessary, and plus we didn't do any minor chakras, let's go ahead and do all the major and minor chakras with composite copy technique. So you just imagine, one image that represents all your chakras, with a basic chakra shape like this, a round open cylinder. And, I threw the fabric away. So just use gold light and repair. Because there could be a little bit of damage still around the round openings, like cracks or missing pieces, something like that. So of course melt cords that you see, but also repair. All right. And, you know, hey, let's think of our theme, productivity, right? Gentle productivity. So we still have our composite copy chakra here. So let's lift out any baggage that's healthy and gentle to get rid of right now that's in the way of your gentle productivity. And lift out that baggage, and you can just melt it into nothingness with gold light. Lift out the baggage in the way of your gentle productivity from all your chakras. Melt it into nothingness. Lift out the baggage. Give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. Lift out the baggage, give it to your angels. Okay, so that's good. Let's celebrate that. See a big cold confetti on that one. So great job. That's wonderful. Good job. So that was repairing and unblocking chakras, clearing avoidance, clearing blocks you're avoiding, and we did just repair of the major chakras just by imagining them separately, and then we also did repair of all major and minor all at once towards the end there with the composite copy technique, and then we did unblocking for the theme to right at the end there using the composite copy technique. Woohoo! One more time. All right. Okay, so let's unblock joints of the physical body. How cool would that be? I guess I'll do minor explaining. I'll bring over that. You can barely see it right there. There's a skeleton right there. There. There's a skeleton, so I'm going to bring that over. Okay, so this is a skeleton, life size. It's a little warped, like the spine, so sorry about that. But anyway, so let's unblock the shoulder joints first, since we have been working shoulders in different ways a lot lately. So these bones, this upper bone right here of the bone of the upper arm is the humerus bone. Humerus, I'll type it all out too. And then this bone right here, the collarbone, that's called your clavicle bone. And then in the back here, this shoulder blade bone, that's called your scapula bone. And that has a lot of cool little surfaces to it. So you actually have multiple joints in your shoulder. It's not just one shoulder joint, because of like each place that these bones connect to each other, with ligaments and tendons and all sorts of different things. that's a joint. So, but I'm just going to say your shoulder joint. So forgive me, I'm just simplifying things because, you know, we don't need to get a PhD in anatomy to do this stuff, to do the energy work for it. So just between these bones and here, just all of any of this stuff. We would just want to look at the energy blocks, the blocked energy in this whole area, okay? And so that's what we're clearing when I say we're going to unblock the shoulder joints, okay? So I hope that makes sense. Because you want energy to flow freely throughout your body, and any blocked energy is going to impair that, and it's going to make you less present. So like if you're less present here, that means you're less present in your whole arm on a spirit level, so we don't want that. So let's just unblock shoulder joints. So this whole area, just any energy blocks. I mean, including in the bones, but I'm mainly focused on, you know, like say where this humerus bone goes in here, you know, you can just imagine like a sort of like a bowl of blocked energy in there, and just melt that bowl of blocked energy. So that's unblocking the shoulder joints. Oops. So let's do that first. You know, I'll explain all of it at once because it's sort of a different headspace to explain and do. So that's unblocking shoulder joints. And then here, I'll get him closer. I wanted a female skeleton, but they were only selling the male one. But sorry, he's so warped. It's so funny. But anyway, down here, okay, you can you can't really see it that well. I'm going to get rid of my little signage for a second. Okay, so here's the spine. It goes down, and this lower part of the spine, that's the sacrum right here. And then these are the ilium bones. So between the sacrum and the ilium bones, that's that sacroilliac joint. And I actually do have a proper diagram of that right there. So the sacroiliac joints between the sacrum, which is at the end of the spine, and then the ilium bones, that sacroiliac joint. So it's right here. I think it's a little bit, I don't know, sometimes it works better for my brain when I have like a life-size thing that I'm looking at. But anyway, that's the sacroiliac joints. So I'm going to be unblocking those two. And I'm going to kind of bounce around and do one and then the other. And then, sorry, I didn't mean to do the glitter. But anyway, then I want to do he's too short, he's too low. I want to do this right here, this joint, the hip joint. So I'm just going to show that on the thing. The hip joint right there. So that big bone of the thigh bone is called the femur, and then where that femur goes and connects to the ilium bones right here, when the thigh bone, the joint between the thigh bone and the pelvic bone here, the ilium, that when I unblock the hip joint, that'll be what I'm doing right there. And then the knee, here we go. So eventually I'll get imagery on this stuff. If it's really important for me to do a lot, then I'll go and get images. But anyway, this is the kneecap, the patella bone, and then this is the femur, the thigh bone, and then this is the tibia, the more substantial of the two lower leg bones here, see? So tibia, fibula. So the big tibia bone, and then the big femur bone, and then the patella bone, that kneecap. So when I talk about unblocking the knee joints, it'll be all right here. So between your little patella kneecap and this thigh bone, and between the thigh bone and the that big lower leg bone right there. So all in there. When I'm unblocking the knee joints, that's what I'm doing. I'm unblocking any energy blocks sitting in these little spaces. So I hope that makes sense. And then I might just do all joints everywhere as well. So I'll just leave him in the background as I work on the joints. All right. So that was explaining. So now let's do. So like I said, I'll bounce around between all of them, and shoulder joints, sacroilliac joints, and knee joints, and hip joints. All right. So just imagine a copy of your bones, because there are ligaments, tendons, muscles, and all that. But I think in this case, you don't need to even think about any of that. Just think about the bones and the spaces in between the bones, you know, where they connect, and that those are joints. And so just think of the energy blocks. Think of the bones, and right where two bones come together, that's your joint. And then you just look for blocked energy in that area, and you melt the blocked energy. And you just set your intention that you only want to be aware of what's healthy and gentle to clear right now. Okay, so shoulders. Think of the blocked energy in your shoulder joints. And just melt them with gold light, the blocked energy. And then sacroilliac joints. So that's the sacroilliac joints from the sacrum to the ilium bones right there. Just imagine the energy blocks in those spaces. The sacroiliac joint energy blocks, and just melt them. Whew. It can look sort of like black coal or like burnt toast. And just keep melting it with gold light. Oh. And then the hip joints, any energy blocks in the hip joints that are healthy and gentle to melt right now, go for it. Imagine them and melt them away. And then the knee joints, which I don't have an illustration for at the moment, but if I find that it was helpful to do, then I will get an illustration, so we'll see. So you have your thigh bone, your big thigh bone, and your kneecap, and the bigger lower leg bone, which is your tibia. And just imagine any energy blocks in between all that, and just melt them away. And if you have any invasive beings that are getting in your way, you know, I have been doing, but I didn't put up the do sign, so I'll put up my doing sign, which is up there. But we have been doing. Okay, so knee joints, energy blocks in your knee joints. Just imagine them and melt them. Or blow them up. So this should free up energy flow, you know, down your shoulders and your arms, down your spine, into your hips, your pelvis, and down your legs. You know, from your upper leg to your lower leg, down to your toes. And then we can do all, maybe thinking of maybe the skull image might, I mean, that obviously doesn't show all your joints, but, you know, whatever. So imagine the energy blocks in all your joints that are healthy and gentle to get rid of, and you could just kind of imagine them as a big pile, or you can imagine the outline of your whole skeletal system and imagine the energy blocks, whatever works for you. So imagine the energy blocks in all your joints that are good to melt right now, and just melt them away with gold light. Including, you know, in between all those vertebrae. Imagine any energy blocks in your spine, your vertebrae, since we have a nice diagram of that. Why not? So if you have energy blocks in your spine that are good to get rid of right now, I'll just melt them away. Couple deep breaths. Breathe throughout your body. Deep breaths. So again, let's do like shoulder joints. So anything between your collarbone right here, which is your scapula. Oh, sorry, your collarbone is your clavicle. And your upper arm bone, which is your humerus bone, and then your shoulder blade right here, which is your scapula. So anything in there, in between all those bones, any energy blocks in between all those bones, just imagine them and take your time and melt them away. Oops, didn't mean to do that one. That one. So yeah, this whole area, anywhere in here, the shoulder joint area, the area of your shoulder joints, plural. Just imagine the energy blocks in those joints and melt them away with gold light. Again, more melting of energy blocks in your shoulder joints. It can look like a big chunk of black clay. If you have anything like wiggling or moving, those could be invasive beings. So you could say, angels, if there are any invasive beings in or around or messing with my shoulder joints, can you please recycle them? Deep breaths. Let's do more of the hip joints. So right here where the, I should make up my mind how I'm going to show them. Well, okay, you see in that diagram right there. So that big thigh bone, it's like a ball joint, ball socket joint between the ilium bones of the pelvis and the thigh bones. So just imagine any blocks in there that are healthy and gentle to get rid of right now, and just melt them away with gold light. And they could have been there for a couple of lifetimes, because even though it's in your physical body, you can superimpose like spiritual stuff into your physical body. So you could have had these same blocks for like the last 3 lifetimes or something. So take your time. And then just a bunch of deep breaths. So again, those hip joints between the big thigh bone and the ilium bones. Just imagine any energy blocks right there. And you can lift them out and give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. Lift them out. Angels, here you go. All right, so just see how that feels. How do your thighs feel? How does your hips feel? If you have any invasive beings that are in these major joints, sometimes they'll kind of be in multiple major joints. So you could just imagine the ones in the diagram right there, your hip joints and your sacroiliac joints, and just see, do you have any invasive beings that are in all those? And if so, you can kind of get an intuitive sense. Is it just one? Is it like a dozen? And then just say, angels, can you recycle all these beings? And again, check your sacroiliac joints and your hip joints. And see, do you have invasive beings maybe from behind, that are accessing all those joints? In which case, just get a sense of how many. And say, angels, can you recycle all these beings? And you can unblock your auras around those major joints, your sacroiliac joints and your hip joints. Just, unblock your auras. And also, just like we did with the chakra section, you could have things you're avoiding. So you could have things that you're avoiding that is causing you to not be as into this whole chakra, joint unblocking. So let's think of that. So just like we did in the chakra section earlier, immediately before the joint work, just imagine all your joints, especially the major ones that are on the screen right now, your hip joints and your sacroiliac joints. And just imagine like a bunch of bowling balls out in front of there. Any energy, any baggage, dumped energy, whatever, that you're avoiding that keeps you from wanting to be in these joints. And you can wrap them all up with gold light, and you could melt them. And just any that don't melt, we're going to hand to your angels. So don't worry about if some of them don't melt. So just wrap them all up in gold light, all these bowling balls of energy you're avoiding. And use gold light, and maybe some of them will melt, maybe some of them won't, which is fine. So any remaining ones, just wrap them up in gold light, give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. So again, one more time, if there are any, so imagine your sacroiliac joints and your hip joints. Is there any energy that you're avoiding that makes you not want to be present in those joints? and just line up that energy. You can imagine it like bowling balls or boxes, whatever, and just wrap it up in lots of gold light. You can give it red grounding, and you can run gold light through it in case they melt, these energy deposits. And if some of them are still there, just give them to your angels. Angels, can you help me with these? And then just take some deep breaths. So same thing with shoulders. We'll do that whole, the shoulder joint between your humerus bone and your scapula bone and your clavicle bone. Clavicle bone. So those shoulder joints right in there. Just imagine any energy that you're avoiding that's causing you to not fully want to be in your shoulder joints, right? So what is the energy you're avoiding? Imagine it like a bunch of bowling balls. Wrap it up in lots of gold light. Ground it with red earth energy if you want, and just use lots of gold light. Don't worry if some of it won't melt. You're going to hand the rest to your angels. So you can try to melt all of it if you want first. Any left over, just wrap it up in gold light. Give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. So again, imagine those shoulder joints and imagine what are you avoiding that keeps you out of these shoulder joints, and just line all that junk up like a bunch of bowling balls and use lots of gold light and melt that stuff away. Any left over, just wrap up in gold light. Give them to your angels. Angels, can you help me with these? Okay, so that concludes the joint work. For the moment, you are a total rock star for having done any of that, if you did it. Even if you thought about doing it, you're still a rock star. So comb through everywhere. Including your groundings. Unblock your groundings. I didn't mention use gold light from your hands. So you have a big hand chakra in each palm of your hand. You have fingertip chakras, one in each fingertip. You set them to gold, metallic gold color. And that way when they're spinning and they generate light, it'll be gold colored, which is useful for healing. So just comb through everything. Including your grounding, including all your chakras, including your bones and your joints, and you're down to your feet. And see if you notice any changes from that work. Okay. So Backlash is something I'm trying to talk about more because it's always been a reality, but I just, I don't know, for some reason I haven't talked about it as much. But it's pretty much a fact of life that when you make progress, somebody's going to get triggered about that. And somebody somewhere will probably try to shut you down. It might not work, but it doesn't mean that that's not a thing. You know, that's a thing. So what does that trigger in you? You know, because the more you, and you may have specific people that you know for a fact keep doing it, you know, like an ex-partner, a sibling, a family member, your boss, whatever. You know, you may have specific backlash people, I'll call them, that typically do throw energy at you when you're making progress. You're more in your space, you're more present. It triggers their baggage, and they're not getting healing, so they don't know what to do about it. They don't know how to ground, so they just lash out subconsciously, right? So that's what a backlash is. And a lot of times that happens when you get healings, because these healings generally make people more productive, more present, more flowing, and, you know, but you can get backlash just from doing well in other ways for other reasons. So it's a great thing to be aware of and to not get so stuck about. You know, a lot of people get really, they kind of spiral about it, like, why does this keep happening, blah, 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 and they lose a lot of focus. Because if you have backlash people, it's best to just not be, I mean, everybody does. So, you know, it's not like just you. And the less you freak out about it, the more efficient you can be, and the more you can kind of just study yourself and study your weaknesses and strengthen them, so that the backlash people have, you know, less and less ability to shut you down over time. So that's explaining backlash people and clearing your baggage about that whole phenomenon. And two, there can be just certain areas of your space that you don't really realize are generally really stagnant. And so that's how it's so easy for people to, you know, have like a high impact couple whacks that blow up a couple of chakras, even if you meditate every day, blah, blah, blah. How is that possible? You know, you may just have these weak spots that you're not aware of, which are really blocked. You know, blocks in your aura is a weakness. So we're going to clear baggage around that. And joints, that's part of why we did joints, because it's a common place where a lot of people store a lot of junk, a lot of blocked energy without realizing it. And then, you know, I mean, there are dietary reasons why people may have problems with their joints, you know, like eating inflammatory foods. For me, like if I eat corn or wheat, I can have problems with my joints that I would not have otherwise had. So I tend to generally don't eat wheat or corn. So you might have things like that you need to alter your diet as well as just, you know, in addition to unblocking your joints. So I guess just try to be open to listening to the feedback from your body, even if it takes a while to interpret, okay, what is it that I'm eating that is causing this reaction? Eventually you'll be able to figure out, you know, through eliminating things and seeing and, you know, trial and error, you'll figure it out. But anyway, so I just wanted to say that about joints, that it could also be food related, but it can be very much energy blocks too, just that you can just clear, you know, with energy healing stuff. So let's clear any blocks that, you know, make you vulnerable to backlash people. You know, and it could just be that you have a lot of, you know, woe is me, like you just get kind of train wrecked about how unfair it is, you know, that your sibling or your neighbor or your former friend or something, or your former business associate is so stuck in this sort of punishing pattern. So you're stuck that they're stuck. So it's better to not be stuck that they're stuck. So then it's only them that's stuck, not you and them. Right? So, okay. So that's explaining. So let's do. Okay. So, you can imagine a little figurine for yourself, and then little figurines which you will not mess with at all, that represent your backlash people. And they can include people that you know are backlash people, and just people that you don't know consciously are backlash people. It could be a neighbor, it could be, people have all sorts of little ways in which they have pent up anger, and certain things piss them off. You can't control all that, right? So just imagine yourself and then the backlash people. And don't do anything to them, okay? Karma is real, okay? Do not harm them. You can't backlash back at them, and that's okay. That's not how karma works. So anyway, just imagine the backlash people, imagine yourself, and within yourself, like expand the view of yourself, because that's what's really important. The reason that we're imagining the backlash people is just to get you triggered, to get this stuff triggered within you so you can see it and clear it. So what triggers within you when you're aware of backlash people, even subconsciously? So just imagine, whatever it is, victim energy, woe is me, resentment, fear, self-esteem issues, betrayal issues, whatever, depression. You can make piles out in front of you of whatever baggage triggers when you think of backlash people, or when backlash people, throw energy at you. What triggers for you? And just melt that stuff, because that's when you really want your flow, right? You don't want to have all this, victim energy or fear or whatever triggered, because that's hardness, which will make your aura weaker, right? So what is your backlash people baggage? And just melt it away. Because backlash people it's just a fact of life. It just is. So, but you can get strong and flowing to the point where it does not detract from your life. And, in case you haven't asked, or you haven't asked recently, you can ask your angels for help. Say, angels, can you help me have strong, healthy boundaries with these backlash people? But, I would caution you not to just leave it all up to the angels. I mean, yes, ask the angels for sure. But they may be only partially protecting you, because they need you to get more flowing and more present and clear all the victim energy and the fear. So, very important to ask for help, but to do your part as well, let's say. Meet them halfway. So again, imagine any baggage that triggers when you think of backlash people, backlashing. And just melt your baggage. And also just any baggage that weakens your aura, any hardness that weakens your aura, that these backlash people can see easily, or maybe they can't see it, but it still weakens your aura. So any baggage that weakens your aura, just run gold light through it until it melts. If there's any left over, just give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. So regarding backlash people, there's a thought process that can occur subconsciously or consciously that says like, okay, I don't feel right. Okay, I must have damage. Okay, let me do something about it. Right? And so self-awareness translating into positive action. Do you have that? I think that's so important. I'll make it a whole separate concept. So okay, so self-awareness, then positive action. So like you get whacked and then you realize, okay, I'm going to redo my buffer zones. I'm going to do some quick repair. Okay, I'm going to go on with my day. It could literally take you 2 minutes to do the repair and the regrounding and stuff, or 3 minutes, But so many people, they just don't get there to that positive action thing because the damage, maybe it's pretty deep, and then they just feel crappy and they're like, well, screw it, I feel crappy, I'm not doing anything. So then that can be, they could train wreck their whole week over that then. So the idea is, is there baggage at play there? Like what was me baggage, or I don't know what I'm doing, I'm not a good healer baggage, or, is there, what's in the way of you just finding, a couple minutes and having that ease with it? So you can just whoosh, 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 repair, go on with your day, right? So self-awareness to positive action. So it's now I've been explaining, sorry, I didn't put up the little thingy. So this is more explaining still, but, yeah, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to just clear. It is related to backlash though, at first, what I want to do, but then maybe I'll expand it to just be more general. But right now it's like self-awareness about your energy. Like say you have damage or you don't feel quite right. You feel stressed, you feel jumpy, you feel tired. And then does that translate into quick positive action that you're doing, like self-healing or, whatever, or not? So let's clear some baggage so that you're more likely to make that connection from self-awareness into positive action more quickly. Okay, so what is the baggage? Just make big piles of baggage, could be mountains of baggage in between you having self-awareness. So it could be including what blocks your self-awareness and that what blocks you from going from self-awareness to positive action. And just imagine it like mountains of baggage. Don't overthink it. And then ground the mountains with red earth energy. Say, angels, is it okay to clear all this? That way they might remove some stuff it's too much for today. And so whatever's left is okay to clear right now. So just go ahead, lots of gold light. You could blow up the mountains. You can melt them with gold light or gold fire. Couple deep breaths. Check your grounding. Okay, so again, what is the baggage in the way of your self-awareness of like, oh, gee, I don't feel quite right. I feel distracted. I feel lightheaded. I feel tired. I have a little head pain. I have some muscle tension. What's awareness between that and positive action? Like something, it could be as simple as, okay, I'm going to get up. I've been seated for too long. I need to get up and walk around a little bit, even just walk to the bathroom or do a minute of stretching or something. It could be that level of action as well. It doesn't have to be chakra repair. It can be, I haven't drunk enough water today. Let me get some water. But any positive action related that results from your self-awareness. That's we're trying to get that flow. And then also just, do you have self-awareness? Okay, so what's the baggage in the way of your self-awareness and in the way of your positive action? Just line that all up. Say, angels, is it okay to clear all this? That way they'll remove whatever's too much. And then just melt it all away. And if you have any left over, just wrap it up in gold light. Give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. Okay. Most important baggage, clear baggage, most important project. Clear baggage around your most important project. So part of productivity is being able to prioritize. So to understand which projects are most important to get done first or sooner. But then also sometimes you will have so much resistance to the most important project that you can do all the others while you're avoiding the big one, but you can't do the big one. It's like there's just something, I can't do it. So then it's funny because like sometimes you might, like say if you always avoid dishwashing, but you're also avoiding your taxes. Well, all of a sudden when you're avoiding your taxes, dishwashing seems like a great idea. And why is that? Well, because it's like, well, anything but doing my taxes, It's like whatever you're avoiding, then the other stuff seems easier, right? But wouldn't it be nice if you could make progress on the most important thing to you? So that's what we're going to be working on, clearing the baggage in the way of you doing the most important thing. And this isn't the most important thing to your neighbor or your spouse or whatever. It's the most important thing to you, and so that's why it can cause a lot of stress when you're avoiding it, because it's the most important thing to you. It's the thing that would simplify everything if you just got it done. For goodness sakes. So let's work on that. Why not? Right? So that was explaining, and I actually put the sign up. I'm so proud. So this is doing. All right. So, I know they weren't going to separate out conscious and subconscious mind. Just a heads up that most of the baggage in the way is usually subconscious. So, and like odd, so if you have a weird avoidance to some project, like for example, taxes, okay? Why do I avoid taxes? Well, it's several past lives. It's nothing in this life anymore. I've cleared all that. So it's several past lives, and it's like, one time I owed this powerful person, but I was fine until I came forward and said, I owe you this much. And then that person put me like in a debtor prison, some kind of, hard labor situation. And if I just hadn't come forward, that, you know, so I was like always giving myself grief for that like several year period when I was in, you know, in servitude to this person, that, oh, I did the wrong thing by coming forward, you know. And so it's kind of a little still ingrained in me, like, don't come forward, don't, you know, don't do your taxes, basically, you know. So that's silly, you know, now, because if you don't do your taxes, actually you get more penalties than if you didn't, and they'll probably figure it out anyway. And it's good energy, to be honest, with, you know, big institutions like the government. So anyway, but it can be kind of convoluted past life reasons why you're avoiding certain projects. So you don't have to spend a lot of brain power trying to figure it out. Just keep clearing the baggage, because it can be, you know, like mine, several past lives, and so it can take time to get it all out. So anyway, you can make a big gold blanket out in front of you, and so that was also explaining. Sorry about that. How do I? Okay, so this part is really the doing part. Really, 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 for sure. Okay, so just make a big old blanket, put out in front of you any baggage in the way of you doing the more important projects. And this is just in general, you know, it could be the same baggage that always comes up, you know, like failure baggage, whatever. So just, you know, put all the baggage out in front of you that is in the way of you getting the most important projects done. And it's probably kind of gross stuff. So don't worry about that. You can push it out further. You can put a big gold curtain in between you and the baggage if it freaks you out. And then just lots of gold light. You can say, angels, can you help me clear all this? Is this too much to clear right now, angels? So if there is anything too much, they'll remove it. And just keep clearing. Lots of gold light. Whew, a couple deep breaths. All right, so again, big gold blanket out in front of you, put onto it any baggage, subconscious baggage, conscious baggage, past life baggage, all of it. That's in the way of you doing the more important projects to you or the most important projects to you. And then just say, angels, is this too much to clear right now? So they'll edit it for you. And then anything that's still there, go ahead and clear it. Lots of gold light. You can bring up red earth energy. Maybe that helps you kind of detach from it a little bit. Lots of gold light. Keep breathing. You can give yourself kind of comforting messages like, it's okay, you can do it, it's all right. It's okay. Take your time. And then, you know, give yourself a little party when you did it. You're amazing. Woohoo! Good job, good job, good job. All righty. So that was clearing baggage in the way of you doing the most important projects. So let's do flower healing to help you, because sometimes, you know, we already did the clearing, so now we'll do the nourishing with flower healing. So just make as many energy healing flowers as you need out of universal healing energy. So that could be rainbow colors, could be gold light, could be both. Don't worry about the colors, but just make a whole bunch of flowers, the exact healing vibration that you need to work on your most important projects. And then say, angels, can you double check my flowers? And go ahead and give them to you. Give them to yourself. Okay, make more energy healing flowers, whatever universal healing energy nourishment you need to help you with your most important projects, to starting them, finishing them, working on them. And say, angels, can you check my flowers? Give them to yourself. One more time, energy healing flowers to help you accomplish your most important projects, to work on them, to take steps towards finishing them. Angels, can you check my flowers? And give them to yourself. All right, excellent job. Woohoo. Yay. So that was 2 different things we did. We did the most, to help the most important project. First we did clearing, and then we just did flower healing. So I'm going to look at a sample person for a second. So I'll be quiet for a minute as I do that. Okay. So this is another thing around the biggest projects, because sometimes, you know, there are certain productivity related things that just don't trigger you, and you can do them fine and every time, and it's not really a thing. But then there are other projects where it's like, whoa, you know, that one took me 3 months to get done, or, you know, that one took me a year to get done. You know, because like I said, different projects will trigger different baggage subconsciously. And so some projects just don't trigger you, and you just get them done, you know. So sometimes, you know, so I'm calling them the biggest projects, the ones that you might have problems with, but it's, yeah. So I'm not going to nitpick more on that. But anyway, I was looking at a sample person, and she has some energy in her third chakra. Third chakra has to do with getting things done, starting projects, finishing projects. Third chakra. Third chakra is action, taking action. So an idea, a vision, an idea is 7th, vision is 6th, 5th is thinking about it, inner reflective space, talking to others about it, hearing your angels about it. 4th is feeling motivation, caring. motivating yourself, pep talking yourself. Third is doing, actually starting the project, finishing the project. Okay. And second is good emotions, sexuality, sensuality. First chakra is feeling safe enough to get it all to function properly and be bold enough and all that good stuff. So anyway, she has a chunk of energy in her third chakra, and the image with it is, it's like a doorway with a closed door. And it's from her dad, and it's like, it means that the energy with this chunk of, the chunk of energy, it says basically she needs her dad's permission to do the big stuff. Like if it's not something big, she doesn't have to spiritually get her dad's permission subconsciously, but for something big, she needs her dad's permission. And even the boys in her family have that same chunk of energy. So it's not just like a girl thing in her family. It's just, that's the way their dad is. He's like, I need to make sure you're doing the right thing, run that by me. So the problem is she is very independent minded, and so she tends to not ask her dad for permission even subconsciously. But then she has this big block in her third chakra where she's kind of unable to use that part of the chakra because that energy's there. Ask your dad's permission. And she's like avoiding the whole thing, so she's kind of popping in and out, as she's trying to finish something bigger. So removing controls means to remove anything like that from your space that's unhealthy, removing unhealthy controls, obviously. In the way of you doing your biggest projects. So that's what we're going to do. And it can be like that client, a chunk of energy from a parent in your third chakra or in your seventh chakra or anywhere, or a chunk of energy from an old partner or a current partner or siblings, whatever. So we're going to remove controls. And sometimes people mean well, but it's still a block in your space that ends up, making you unable to finish a project or even start a project. They could be trying to encourage you and they dumped a bunch of like, you can do it, you can do anything, but that'll block you up just as much as something, that is meant to block you up. Like, don't do that, So anyway, we're going to remove all of the stuff to the extent that's healthy and gentle, and you can hand it to your angels. Just if you're nervous at all that maybe you shouldn't remove some of it, your angels will work that out with you later. Okay, so that's explaining. So doing is always easier. So just imagine, I guess you can imagine a mini copy of yourself out in front of you, all your auras and your body. If that's too much, maybe just imagine the baggage and not you. But if you can imagine all your auras and your physical body, your astral body, and your groundings, you can imagine where are the controls that are in the way of you doing your bigger projects. And just imagine them and surround them with so much gold light that you can move them out. And then just hand them to your angels. Angels, here you go. Take some deep breaths. So these could be in your auras, they could be in your chakras, they could be in your grounding. So again, just imagine a copy of all your stuff, all of you, and then just imagine any controls in your space, making it hard for you to do your most important projects. And just surround those controls in gold light and move them out. Give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. Take some deep breaths. And we'll do it a different way too, in case one works for your brain better than the other. So just make a big gold blanket out in front of you and put any remaining controls that are in your space preventing you from doing big projects. So it could be dumped energy. It's typically from other people, these controls. Just say, angels, is it okay to clear all this? And use lots of gold light and melt it away. And if there's any left over, just wrap it up in the blanket and give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. And you could also have agreements, which is a level of control. But we'll make a little separate heading for this one. So you can have in that client's case, she didn't have an agreement. She just had like a sort of a command, a chunk of energy dumped in her space, and she was just, it was stuck there. She wasn't like, okay, but you know, it still blocked her up. But you could actually have agreed at some point, maybe a long time ago, that somebody can prevent you from doing your projects. So just imagine any agreements that you have consciously or subconsciously that are messing with your productivity in an unhealthy way. And just say, angels, is it okay to update all these agreements? And then just use lots of gold light. And some of the agreements might completely vanish. Some of them might just transform. And so they're healthier agreements. So you don't have to worry about that. Just run gold light through all of them. And you can say, angels, help me do this so that, you know, I don't have any unhealthy agreements in the way of my productivity. And this includes agreements with beings. You know, you could have invasive beings that maybe you're confused because of some past life that you had where you didn't really know about angels. And so all you knew about were these darker spirits, you know, more invasive, more manipulative spirits. And you used them to feel like you were getting protection, but it was at quite a cost, you know. So you might have unhealthy agreements with these types of invasive beings just because in a certain lifetime or at a certain age of a certain lifetime, you just didn't know any better. So just line up any unhealthy agreements, especially with invasive beings that you have that are in the way of your productivity and wellness too, of course. And just say, angels, can you help me update or clear any of these agreements? And just use lots of gold light. I mean, if it's an invasive being, then you probably just want to clear the agreement completely, but just have your angels help. And you can imagine the agreements however you want, like scrolls of paper, pieces of paper, rocks, sticks, whatever. Just lots of gold light. So again, any unhealthy agreements, even with invasive beings that you have that might be in the way of your wellness and productivity. If you have any left over, just say, angels, help me with these. All right. So now I'm just going to wrap up. So just comb through your whole space. I'll redo your gold buffer zones. Comb through all your auras. Unblock above the top of your auras. So like above here. Oh, my camera's going up very high this time. It's funny. So anyway, unblock above the top of your aura. You know, if people dump energy towards your head, but your aura is really strong, it'll just stack up above you, so you just melt it away. And then unblock the top and the bottom of all your auras. Check your creative rings. Two seconds on your manifestation wings, which are in the back. They look like big gold angel wings if they're healed properly. Just use lots of gold light. Melt away any junk around your manifestation wings. Unblock your grounding. All right. So we're wrapping up. So just say, angels, can you help me to wrap up this healing? If you have any big, too big blocks still triggered, just stack those up, melt them away with gold light. Any too big blocks, melt them away with lots of gold light. So any energy blocks are making you uncomfortable on any level, just stack them up, melt them away, lots of gold light. Also, we'll empty unprocessed stress pots as a part of this wrap up. So just imagine big pots that contain any unprocessed stress that you haven't cleared yet fully. And just imagine all those pots, and you want them all to be empty so that you have room, in case something stressful happens. So just use lots of gold light, ground all these pots, your unprocessed stress pots. It's just a representation of your kind of free space to deal with things. So it could be people courting you, which makes these pots not clear properly. So just melt the cords and then melt the contents of the pots away with gold light. All right, and then just say, angels, can you please help me to have productivity as well as gentle productivity? All right, that's a healing. You're so amazing. Woo, woo, woo. Yay. You did it. You're amazing. What if we did cold confetti and butterflies at the same time? Oh my goodness. Or the other one at the same time. Let's see. Oh, that's kind of nice. All right, I am such a child. It's never too late to have a happy childhood, people. I'm living proof. All right, great job, everybody. So I'm just gonna have the live stream just go on for a few more minutes. I will check chat comments. If you have perchance written out a big reading question for me, odds are I probably won't answer it right now, unless you're a newbie and I'm having pity on you. But big reading questions go under videos, so that I can answer them at my leisure. When I have time, I'll post a reply, but we'll see. If you have any comments about the healing, those would be very welcome. About how you're doing after the healing, any comment about any part of the healing that we did, feel free to comment that. La la la, I'm looking for ones I missed. I can see and hear you in Evergreen, Colorado, cloudy and 41. Expecting snowstorms tonight. Ooh. Looking forward, hope it helps with avoiding tasks. Yes, that's the idea. For those of you that like those audio recordings that you can download from my website, there is one on, oh God, it's called Project Unstuck, I think. And it's short, it's probably, 10, 15 minutes. But it basically is like some of the kind of stuff that we did today, maybe. It's just, you ground, you think of your projects, and you unblock, basically. I think it's like blanket exercise or something, make piles of your baggage that triggers when you think of doing your project, you know. So that's up. That's on my website, jwhealing.com. It's an old recording, almost 10 years ago I made it. But anyway, it's called Project Unstuck. And I think there's probably different background sound options, so you could listen to it straight with no background sound, or with bird sounds, or with ocean sounds. But anyway, hello from mild and wonderful Lake Worth, Florida. Well, hello to you. The birds love the warm sun. Me too, yes. I can imagine. Hello from Chicagoland. Hello, Chicago. Hello, hello. Your new microphone works very well even while you are working with the bone skeleton. Oh, that's good. Yeah, it was money well spent. I'm glad I got it. Thank you for the feedback. Someone says, if I have to spend some time with a toxic person who is attacking my aura, what do I focus on? How do I protect myself at that time? I usually feel attack on my neck and back. If someone subjects me to his control and I do not want that, I do not want to do what someone wants me to do, I feel pressure. How to stop this? Yeah, so it's what we worked on today with the self-awareness going into positive action. So you can plan in advance, you know, and it'll be individual for the person. Like someone who's advanced, you know, maybe, you know, does some pretty advanced things when they're around controlling people. Maybe not, but they could, you know, because they have that level of facility and knowledge and they've practiced, so it's like easy peasy. You know, like someone who's advanced, maybe they could unblock their good karma windows when they're around somebody, you know, and melt cords from there and unblock there, and that could be pretty hip, you know, and you know, maybe their aura's whole anyway when they're around them, but maybe their grounding blocks up. Grounding unblocking is easy. Anyone could do that around somebody. Tricolor soak, or just a one color earth energy soak, is also super easy. Anyone could do that when they're, I mean, I do that like, not always, but sometimes when I, like if I go into Costco or something, you know, I'll do like a one color earth energy soak, like say red, and just bring up red earth energy and just walk around with, you know, all earth energy. Because it's like a foresty kind of feeling. So it's very comforting, and it's sort of below all the chaos and all the drama that people tend to channel, especially in shopping situations. But like, you know, if I worked in a hospital, you know, obviously I don't. I work at home, thank God. But if I did work in a hospital, I would probably do like an earth energy soak all day long for sure. And I would do like maybe sticky gold wax on like 7 chakras, you know, just, whoosh, you know, just like, but that you can't really do when you're around somebody because it's very visual. I could do like, gold sandstorm. Gold sandstorm is where you make gold light into gold bits that's like spin around you. And so you could do gold sandstorm throughout your auras and your groundings, just to like, whoosh, you know, to help strengthen your boundaries and strengthen your sense of like, okay, this is me, you know, and just have gold sandstorm going the whole time. So you could do like an earth energy soak and gold sandstorm. So it would be like, you know, red or orange or yellow earth energy, and then the gold sandstorm. And then, you know, when you go to the bathroom, just double check your grounding though, because a lot of times people get triggered and then their grounding gets really blocked, and then it's hard after that. Everything's hard. So just go with what your level of skill is at this point. You know, something like a one color earth energy soak, that's super easy. You know, so do what you can, but don't do it to the point where you're getting really compulsive and distracted, you know. But, you know, even just breathing, focusing on your breathing, because your flow is strength. You know, the more everything's flowing, the stronger you are. When someone wants you to do something and you're not doing it and you feel pressure, chances are they're cording you. So you just melt the cords, and then you melt your baggage that they're corded into. You can do this proactively though, because it's not like, you know, you can do it ahead of time. You know, like, oh, what's the baggage that my mother typically cords? Okay, let me melt all that. What's the baggage my dad typically cords? Okay, let me melt all that. You know, are there any places my mom is cording currently? Okay, let me melt those cords. Let me melt the baggage. You know, you can proactively do that. So it's not like right when you're trying to have a conversation with the person that you just start doing it. So I did answer that because it helps everybody, but let's keep it to the healing questions now. Plus you're a newbie, so I'm letting you cheat a little, but no more cheating. Just post those questions under the video later. Thanks for the healing, Janet. Feeling okay, but also kind of numb and immobile. My goodness. I was feeling really heavy, but I don't know when you posted that, though. You could have posted it during the healing. Thanks for the healing, Janet. Feeling okay, but also kind of numb and immobile. I was feeling really heavy last night, but that's improved a bit since the healing. You're in 7 through 2. Your grounding is fine. Yeah, 3rd chakra is like pinched and weird. You know, you seem to have a lot of hard objects going in the front of your 3rd. So I think you're kind of like, you know, that's tripping you out. Your creative rings are fine. Yeah, it seems to be mostly 3rd. So you could unblock that more, get out the hard objects repair. It's just some backlash. Sound quality is much better with microphone. Good to hear. I love your skeleton hanging out with you. Yep. Yipper. We're just hanging out, talking about energy healing. Thank you for the healing. My legs feel more loose and feet. Oh, that sounds good. You're welcome. Things are so peaceful in me right now because the birds, the squirrels, and storks are very close to me while I sit at the picnic table. Thank you for your work, Janet. Yeah, and I am sure it's the natural setting that is helping a lot, but I think also the joint work was probably a big deal for you. So you could keep doing the joint stuff, joint unblocking. I really liked the part about how to move from noticing you've been whacked to just darn fixing it. Yeah, which I called self-awareness to positive action. Yeah, and it was towards the end. It was after joint work, after Backlash People, self-awareness to positive action. Yeah, so you could work more on that later, using the chapters that will be there within a day. Very grateful for this healing. Clearing Backlash People baggage was my favorite. It's like proactive clearing. Yes, very cool. Feeling peaceful right now, but also shivering all over my body, and I'm not cold. Oh, that's kind of dramatic. Looks like your Kundalini chakra has some damage. So the Kundalini chakra is a body chakra right under the physical body first chakra. And yours looks like it has a bunch of damage and some hard objects going into it from the front left. So like right there. So just, you could do Kundalini chakra and first chakra together, but just, imagine them and remove hard objects and just keep repairing and remove more hard objects and keep repairing. Thanks, Janet. Literally couldn't get off the couch last night, so hard objects in 3rd makes sense. Yeah. That looks like it was from your sister, not your mom. I mean, not that really matters, but it's interesting. I think you have been trying to nudge her verbally on a telepathic level, so maybe imagine the little mini versions of you that's trying to fix her and counsel her and give those parts of you a healing. Teach those parts of you about backlash. All right. Well, good. Let's see. Do I have any gardening news? I have to repot a whole bunch of plants because they're all root bound now. Pot them up into bigger pots, which is not a terrible problem to have, really, when you think about it. It means my plants are growing in my house. The kale and basil that I planted. What else? It's been kind of mild here, which is nice. Really nice. Like, oddly nice. Like, at night it'll be 50 degrees, which never happens. Or maybe mid-40s. But it's really nice. It's definitely above freezing day after day now. I mean, I don't know how long this will last, though, but for right now, it's awesome. Because we had, like, crazy, like, in between, I forget when it was, but a couple weeks ago, we had really serious cold night after night after night after, like, from, like, Thursday through the next Wednesday, we had, like, it never came up above freezing, which is super weird for this area. But anyway, so now we're getting a little bit of goodness after all that. Since I feel warm after this healing. There you go, healing feedback. But I didn't heal you, you healed yourself, but that's great. But generally I'm feeling cold, thanks. You know, that could be related to food. I don't know if that's super rare, but like, for example, for me personally, like, I can't eat a lot of raw food. I can't eat any raw food unless it's like the middle of summer. Then I can eat raw food in moderation. But otherwise, it makes me cold because I don't have surplus stomach chi, so especially in the winter, so I need my food cooked. So it could be somewhat food related, like maybe you're eating things that are cooling, like green tea is cooling. There are obvious things that are cooling, like peppermint tea, but even green tea is cooling. Certain foods are cooling. Obviously, raw food is cooling. So there may be some dietary things going on. Because I don't think your first chakra or your Kundalini chakra are damaged. Okay, cool. So you guys are amazing, and no more cheating. I'm not going to read you more after healing. All right. You're amazing, and I hope you have a great evening or afternoon or morning, whatever's next for you, and good for you for thinking about your energy and translating it into positive action, even if it's just a little bit. Yay! Confetti for you! Woohoo! All right, bye! We'll close out with some butterflies.